The book of Numbers, chapter 25, chronicles what just may be the deadliest honeypot operation in human history, orchestrated by King Balak and his lead operative, Balaam. The Moabites were absolutely terrified of Israel's powerful army. They knew they would have been slaughtered on a traditional battlefield. So, they fought dirty by deploying a state-sponsored honey trap, infiltrating the camp with 24,000 Moabite and Midianite women. The objective? To initiate a total security collapse from the inside by using sex as a weapon and luring Israel into betraying their own God. God's justice was swift. The price of their idolatry was catastrophic. A divine plague descended upon the Israelite army's encampment that wiped out 24,000 men. This wasn't a simple moral failure. It was high treason. By worshiping Baal, these soldiers didn't just break a rule, they stripped away their own defense system. They traded God's protection for a pagan lie. Listen up, knuckleheads. A covenant with God isn't a suggestion. It's your security. When God is your shield, loyalty to Him is the only thing keeping the destruction of your soul and life at bay. At Baal Peor, the intelligence failure here was absolute. The enemy didn't even have to scale the walls or break the line with iron weapons. They just slipped through the perimeter simply by using their women as a seductive honey trap to trigger a total internal collapse. Israel sat on the plains of Moab as a hardened, massive military force. From the outside, they were an unstoppable machine. To King Balak, a head-on collision would be certain suicide. He knew he couldn't break them from the front, so he authorized a different kind of strike. He activated Balaam, a mysterious operative from Mesopotamia, and paid him to do what an army couldn't: compromise Israel's divine protection with a curse. Every frontal assault failed. Instead of curses, blessings fell. Since Israel couldn't be broken militarily from the outside, Balaam pivoted. He targeted the soldiers' most exposed vulnerability, their lust. He weaponized the Midianite women to breach the perimeter, using seduction as the ultimate Trojan horse. He deployed the Midianite women to offer exactly what these men were starving for. But the sex was just the bait. The real trap was the altar. Inside the encampment, these men weren't just betraying their wives. They were kneeling before foreign idols and dismantling their only defense system. This wasn't a mistake. It was cold-blooded, high-stakes treason, one night of cheap vice. And the men of Israel effectively surrendered their divine protection. They turned their own camp into a graveyard. From the inside out, not by an enemy's sword, but through a catastrophic breach of their covenant. This was a highly coordinated infiltration by the Moabite coalition. They weaponized seduction as the master key to bypass Israel's defenses and strike directly at the core. The infiltration was flawless. It sparked the ultimate double betrayal, abandoning their posts and turning their backs on God. When the Israelites bowed to the false gods of Moab, they didn't just walk away from a covenant. They effectively signed their own death warrants. They abandoned their only source of protection, and the result was catastrophic. A plague ripped through the camp like wildfire, cutting down thousands before the commanders could even blink. The leadership was completely paralyzed, watching their hardened military force crumble from a biological strike they never saw coming. In the middle of this chaos, a tribal leader named Zimri committed the ultimate act of treason. He flaunted his sin. He paraded his asset, a Midianite princess named Cosby, right past the eyes of the broken officers. It was a public declaration that the internal collapse was total. It was a calculated taunt. He mocked what was left of the leaders by dragging her into his tent, betting the leadership was too compromised to act. He thought his lust was safe. He figured the God of Israel wouldn't pull them out of this one. He was dead wrong. Phinehas, grandson of Aaron the high priest, had seen enough. He seized a spear and executed a single, ruthless strike. By driving the blade through the idolatrous couple's bodies, he wasn't just stopping a sin. He was neutralizing a deadly threat and reclaiming Israel's covenant with God. That act of judgment halted the plague, but the forensic cost was final. 24,000 casualties lay across the plains of Moab. The lesson of Numbers 25 is unmistakable. Your protection is tied to your loyalty. The nation that no external enemy could defeat nearly erased itself from the inside out. The truth is hidden in plain sight, buried under layers of tradition. If you want more of the unvarnished reality of the text, subscribe and keep your eyes open. The Scripture Forensic Investigation is open and active. See you next time.